Welcome to the Positivity Room, where the good vibes grow.
Are we going now?
Yeah. Welcome.
All right.
Oh my God.
Welcome back to the third installment of Pawsitivity Presentations. I'm Bobby, as always. You guys ready for my extremely amazing acting? Because I'm about to give you some really good stuff here. A human is late. The phone is ringing. Something happened at work. Traffic sucks. Someone sent a stupid email. The dog has no idea what an email is. He does know that your breathing has changed, your shoulders have tightened, your voice changed, and you grab the leash differently. You're walking faster, you're scanning everything. I see that all the time. The little creature attached to the other end of the leash did not read your inbox, but somehow he's now participating in the meeting. It's funny because it's absurd, right? Well, it's also the presentation, so we can go now.
It's cute.
That's awesome.
That's pretty much it. That's it. You know, we're going to go a little deeper into it, obviously. We're going to talk about this because taking a practical look at how stress moves through our bodies, through our homes, and through our pets is very important. Little tip there on the bottom is probably the best thing that you'll hear tonight. Before the walk begins, ask what you're carrying into the leash. You know, it's a pretty deep question when you actually start thinking about it. I think we're all carrying a little bit too much. That's just my opinion.
Or people walking on their phones, you know. While they're walking their dog. I'm like, don't you want to be with your dog?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a special time.
I know.
You know, or unless you're videoing.
Right.
I agree with that, yeah. On the phone, 110 degrees out, no booties.
Right.
Yeah, it happens.
Sacrilegious.
So yeah, guys, this, you know, as always, this is super laid back. We're not here to throw out any guilt. I'm obviously not trying to throw out that you're stressed out, so you're stressing your dog out and make it even worse. That's not what we're trying to do here. But this is just kind of where, you know, I just let you know that this is not a shame talk. Nobody needs to leave here thinking, great, now my stress is hurting my dog too. You know, that's not helpful. So the better frame is feedback. If little Rosa over here, back when she was not injured, if she was dancing around differently, I would be paying attention, you know. If Carlito gets a little louder, if Opal hesitates a little bit, or if Loca, the cat at home, if he disappears into cat management mode, then they may be showing us a change in the room before we consciously notice it. So, the body talks before the mouth does. These are all things that we do in our bodies that could be brought into our dog's world without us even thinking about it. They are little like weather detectors. You know, it's kind of it's a really great way of thinking about it. But animals don't need us to announce like I'm emotionally activated due to a billing issue on my dumb email. You know. They don't need that. It's just we leak it. We leak it through our breath, through our shoulders, our hands, our tone. It's just being leaked all over the place, and you know, every time we move around, it's got to go somewhere. So, but a dog may not know why your body changed. So, let's just try to be more conscious of these things. Is really just what this is all about, because they can tell that the trusted mammal that's holding the leash on the other end, they know what's going on there. They feel it. So yeah, scanning your body before you scan the street is, you know, kind of goes back to that same first tip there. So the cool thing about a lot of things these days is that people love science. So there's a lot of research actually coming out, you know, that has been done to the point where I'm like, wow, this is a research project, a real research project that went into showing us that what is going on between us and our dogs. So this is dogs and owners. This is shown by science can synchronize long-term stress hormones. So when we are stressed out for long-term, guess who's also going to be stressed out? You know, most of the time. Our odor changes when we're stressed. So your pheromones, the things that are, you know, the smells that are coming out of your body that you might not even smell. Guess who smells it? Yeah, they can pick up on a teaspoon of a substance in 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. They can pick up on that, so they can smell changes in your stress odors. And they've shown that when this is happening in the home, the dog has a harder time responding to ambiguous situations. So has a harder time responding to like, oh, the food bowl's not there where it normally is. It's like now it has a harder time responding to those simple little things just because we're stressed out. And they've shown this stuff with science too. These are actual studies, you know, to show that dogs can synchronize our long-term cortisol levels, and it's pretty beautiful because it's also in a good way too. Because like when we are calm, when we are just, you know, in a rhythm, our dogs can follow that lead too, and that's kind of what we're getting to here. Our breathing and our heartbeat can actually link up to our dogs. So treating your nervous system like it's part of the training environment is the tip here. Stress travels in 3 different ways. This is kind of just a little breakdown here to make it simple to understand, because I don't want this to become like 3 cold categories or anything, you know, by any means, but think of it like 3 doors. My body changes, my behavior changes, the house changes. You know, if I'm stressed, if I may be breathing differently, if I yank the leash sooner, or rush the walk, or even snap at the dog, God forbid, you know, those things, they, the entire home is hearing that like it's a huge emergency broadcast, you know, and so the animal's not reacting to just one thing that you do, it's all the things. They're watching you all the time, and it's pretty amazing what they're doing actually, because they're just like, they're truly just trying to keep you, they're like, what can I do to make you feel better? What can I do to love you more? Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're inside the whole weather system. And I heard that a while back, and it was interestingly enough, I think they were talking about like a woman's mood, but it can be applied to like anything, right? So anybody's mood, it doesn't have to be a woman, but like we all have things that come and go like weather, and if you can try to be the sky, I was like, that kind of stuck with me, that analogy, is the sky doesn't change because the clouds come and go, you know, the sky remains, and trying to be calm like that is a way that helps me remember it. So you find that the softest place to interrupt that loop, and that's where like awareness, my secret is awareness, truly, because when you can become aware of any certain thing, even if it's something like I was just talking about, like you notice that you're rushing the walk, for instance, like a lot of us do that. We turn it into a task instead of an experience, right? If you're rushing the walk and you notice that you're rushing the walk, that's it. You've done the job. Like just becoming aware of that, you don't have to like go home and be like, next time I gotta be more aware, or next time I gotta do this differently. Just becoming aware of it, you will automatically start to lose the grip that you have of that situation. You know, you just lose a little bit of that, and it really helps with a lot of things, especially with our pets. The leash can become a telephone wire, you know, it's a communication. A lot of the things that we're doing with our pets is involving communication. But everybody knows this walk, right? Where you see another dog, your hand tightens, the leash shortens, the voice, you start doing the fake little, it's okay, it's okay, you know? But the dog hears something very differently. They say, interesting, the human just announced that everything's okay in a tone that they use when everything's absolutely not okay. So they pick up on all those things, you know? Sometimes it's the first training move is not a cue. You know, you don't need to just start going crazy. Actually, like loosening the hand can be the first move, then automatically tightening up. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it really does work like that. So before like a command, try softening your body. You know, that's something that have worked for me. Actually, with Nova right here, she's pretty reactive. You know, when another dog is coming, when you're walking her, and I used to do this all the time. I'm so guilty of it. Like, I'm gonna tighten it up, gotta pull her, and you know. And I was like, you know what? It gets to the point where you're like, I'm just gonna let go. And she did better off that, you know. So, something to try. So, as I was saying earlier, we seem to turn experiences into objectives a lot of the time. It's a very human thing to do. I do it all the time. This is one of the biggest ideas in this whole presentation here, guys, in my personal opinion, because I think that we can do a lot more of enjoying the experiences that are happening in our lives instead of rushing through them or turning into a task that gets knocked off of the list. We cannot even take a walk without turning it into steps or pace or distance or calories or schedule or, you know, it's every single thing that we do. And so the dog is not failing the walk by sniffing around. That's something that I am 100% guilty of. I will educate myself on that sometimes, especially with little Carlito there. He's our wanderer. He's our just sniff the flowers type of guy. And he loves to get around my nerves. Because it's like, you know, after he'd been out there for 20 minutes and we're all just trying to go to bed, it's like, come on, bud, you know. But the truth is, he's teaching me. And if we all can like just realize like, hey, why am I getting annoyed? That's the tricky part. Now that goes back to that awareness thing.
Stop and smell flowers.
Right. Yeah. We all got to do it because truly, we're only going to be here for a sniff of a flower. And so, you know, you gotta enjoy it while you're here and try to be yourself. Try to be with the people you love and be in the moment, because our dogs are teaching us that. The biggest thing they're teaching us is to be present. So yeah, give the 5 minutes of the walk, the dog's agenda, give that to them. Allow, because, you know, a walk can still be complete. You know, you don't need to make it all the way around the block every time. You know, that's what we'll turn it into. A walk can be going in the front yard, letting them hang out for 10 minutes and going back in. You know, if that's what they want to do. But either way, I think we can do better with that. I know I can. So, cats, a little bit different. I don't know if any of you have cats in the room. I know you do, actually. So cats are a little bit different. They don't need a leash to feel the room. They're feeling it all the time, trust me. So the reason I bring up cats a little bit differently is because cats are little weirdos, you know? So like every single thing that they do, we think is like normal, you know? They're like, oh, the cat's just being weird again, you know? But that's not really true if we're paying attention all the time. Because like anything can throw a cat off of their game. They really thrive on pretty strict rituals, pretty strict, you know, generally like the same type of things. You know, like, so if you change the schedule up, you move the litter box, another cat is guarding the hallway. These type of things, they feel them, you know, even if there's construction going on outside, you know, things like that. So we pay attention to them and realize like, hey, the cat's doing a little bit something different today. We don't need to like make it an emergency, but we can realize that maybe there's a lot more stress in the household than usual, and recognize that that could be a part of what's going on. And that can actually help with a lot of things, because some cats do very interesting things when there is just construction noise going on, and we all of a sudden think that it's an emergency. Instead, it's just stressed out for a little bit, you know. So they don't always like explode to show you what's going on. Sometimes they'll just hide in the other room, or they'll overgroom themselves, so they'll pee somewhere weird, you know. So cats are just funky like that, and I like to share all that because I think that a lot of cat owners, myself, back when we had family cats, I was never really paying attention to all the little things, and there's a lot to pay attention to with a cat. Not to scare anybody about that, but it's true. They're a little bit different, but when you watch the quiet changes before they become loud problems, you know, that's what it's all about. Stress is not the enemy. Getting stuck is expensive, though. That's kind of what I wrote this on the board here. So stress response is useful. Living in one is expensive, and that's where, you know, I want to draw the line there, because stress response, we need them. We got, you know, if a coyote starts walking into your yard, physiologically wake up. So that's stress is good, you know. You don't need it to go away. We're just trying to turn, you know, we're not trying to turn you into a couch pillow, but the problem is when the alarm, you know, becomes the soundtrack, and the alarm is just going off all the time, and then it's like the little blow of wind becomes the coyote, you know, and so now we're just constantly, all the time, like, yeah, the smoke detector is useful when there's smoke. That's a good analogy that I like to use there. So the idea is that we want to let things become background music that are background music, and be able to recover once the trigger, you know, comes along. Coming back down is the best thing that we're going to try. So that's what I mean by the pause. This is like the practical heart of kind of what I'm talking about here. We're not asking people to become enlightened before walking the dog. You know, it's we're asking for one breath, one tiny interruption before an old pattern takes the wheel. So like if we all just like kind of right now, let's do it together. Let's just take in one long deep breath through the nose. exhale through the mouth. Feel good? Like, I mean, it just does every time. And if we start doing just one simple thing like that before we clip the leash on there, before we start doing the walk, it can really change things. And especially when you do it over and over again. And that's the big thing, is becoming more consistent with things, doing it every day, all the time, every time you walk them. That's where it starts to really build. Feel your feet. You can start to loosen a little bit of the grip of the leash. Look at amazing. We have this beautiful town to look at on our walk, so we're grateful for that. But yeah, just a little bit of an exhale. Yeah. Human does not mean a fake perfect human, because I talk about perfect being one of the biggest, I guess, lies, scams, whatever you want to call it. The word is not really a real word. Like, there's no such thing as perfect, and especially not inside these walls here. This is important for everyone who's already carrying a lot, you know, just to hear that, you know, because I think that a lot of us are carrying a lot. It's just the way we live our lives these days. And so hearing that not being perfect, not having to be perfect, I think is liberating in a lot of different ways. And I think we could probably hear it a lot more, because even when you hear it every day, you're still like, I gotta be perfect. But yeah, we're not selling perfect calm. Perfect calm is super suspicious, to be real. Like, I don't trust people who are super calm all the time. But yeah, the goal is just 1% softer. Softer voice, softer hand, softer place, softer room. That's where it's real. And it's doable, I think. I think softer is, I think it's doable. I think we can do that, you know, so just let's aim for that. So the homework, as we do, you know, we have more printouts tonight that I'll get you guys. Kathleen turned hers in after week 1, and we went over it, and it was really great. Tilly is an amazing little creature, and she brings a lot of joy to you, I can tell.
Oh my God.
Yes, and so I really loved reading. It's just a cool thing. So it's just super tiny, and you know, on purpose. Again, it'll be the same thing where you just once a day, one sentence, one interaction. You just name what you're carrying this week. You know, it doesn't have to be something that you need to put down, but just writing down what you're carrying. You know, not to judge it, not just stop pretending that it's invisible. So that's kind of what it was today, guys. But yeah, one sentence a day. I brought blank, my animal showed blank, something like that. Did anybody have any questions? Yeah, thanks for coming today, guys.
Fun. Everybody did such a good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the